Tic-tac-toe. In this video today, I'm going to be showing you guys how to implement tic-tac-toe in C++ using classes and functions. Before we start delving into the code, I'll give you guys an overview of how the code is put together, and then I'll show you the implementation in C++ inside the IDE via Visual Studio. So let's firstly get into the overall software design of implementing tic-tac-toe, and then I'll show you guys the code. Alright, so here we are inside Visual Studio where we have implemented tic-tac-toe in C++. So in this header file that I've got here, this is the tic-tac-toe header file that we've defined here. So as you can see in this header file, first of all, we've got the include files here. So these include files that I've highlighted here, these are needed to help create and run our tic-tac-toe game. So we've got time, std, lib, studio, and iostream. And then we've got std-cout. So what std-cout means is that it allows us to print out stuff out onto the console. So after we've got those included, what we've got here is that we've got the class declaration. So this class declaration is the blueprint which allows us to implement our tic-tac-toe game in C++. So as you can see under the private declaration here, we've got the variables defined here. So we'll run through the variables here. So we've got the position where the board position where you've placed an item. You've got the current player, who is currently which is whose turn it is while playing the game. The total turns that have happened so far. The number of players who are actually playing the game, and the player type. So in this example here of implementing tic-tac-toe, we've got one player which is the user, and then we've got the computer which is playing against the human player. And then under the public declaration, what we've got here is that we've got the constructor for the class. So this allows us to initialize the objects inside the class. And then we've also got the function declarations here to actually help us implement the functions of the tic-tac-toe game in C++, which we're going to get into each function implementation to in the next file. So we've got print turn, human player, human move, the computer move, during the board, declaring who's the winner of the game, and if it's a full board, and whose turn it is next to select their spot on the tic-tac-toe board. So let's get into the actual implementation of these functions here. So in the constructor, in the tic-tac-toe constructor here, we've got a random value being generated here. And then we're setting upon who's starting first in the game, and then we've got the new player setup, and then which player is going to be the human, and then which player is going to be the computer, which has been defined here in the variables here, and then it's initializing the positions in the constructor here. Then we've got the drawing of the board. So this allows us to draw the board on the console screen here. That's pretty self-explanatory here. And then it's going to print whose turn it is. So if it's the player's turn, it's going to print that out, and then in this function here, it's going to determine whose turn it is next by using increments, and then using a decision statement to determine whether it's the player's turn or the computer's turn, and then it's returning. And then in this function here, play human, it's returning whether it's the player's turn, and then it's got the human move function here. It's allowing us to enter in our move when it's our turn. And then it's calculating where it's doing it. And then in the computer move, this is where the actual where this is implementing an AI as where the computer is actually placing their choice on the board. And then after that, we've got the winner. So this determines all the possibilities of who wins, either from the human or the computer wins. So it's calculating all the possibilities through here. So we've got a for loop here, and we've also got a decision statement here in regards to the possible choices. And if it's either a full board, that means it's going to be a tie. Now let's get into the main file. So in the main file here, what we've got here is that we've got an object of the class here, which we've called game. So this is the class object here, and then we are calling the function inside the tic-tac-toe class here to draw the board here when we're setting up the game. So we're creating a class object, and then we're telling the program to draw the board, and then what it's going to do is that it's going to do an infinite loop to start the game, determine whose turn it is, whether it's the player's turn or the computer's turn, and then it's going to draw the board and determine whose turn it is next, and then it's just going to keep running until a winner has been determined, whether the human wins or the computer wins. So that's pretty much an overview of the code of implementing tic-tac-toe in C++ with the help of classes. I'd also like to add in that the source code for this game is just in the link down below, where the full source code for this tic-tac-toe game implemented in C++ is freely available for you guys to look at and play around with. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys next time. Attention computer science, IT and engineering students. Have you been trying to learn C++ but have been struggling to put the pieces together? My name is Sahil Bora, and I'm the founder and the writer of C++ Better Explained. What I'm offering you guys today is my 87-page book that outlines how to quickly and easily master the fundamentals of the C++ programming language. So if you've been searching around for free resources that haven't made any sense at all, or free YouTube videos that have made you want to gouge your eyes out, my book will put all of that to rest today, because my book is written in a straightforward and direct manner that will get you learning and understanding the fundamentals of C++ within a matter of days. The book is just $27, so what I want you guys to do is to click on the button below and pick up a copy today. You will not regret this at all, and it also comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee if you're not happy with the book at all.